Hello, everyone, and welcome to this Couch Coaches Summer Edition. First episode. We're back, season 2. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be a great summer. So, let's dive in to our first segment and our first topic. God. So the Sixers lost Game 7 to the Toronto Raptors last night on a iconic, once in a lifetime, tough as nails shot. Kawhi Leonard inbounds the ball. Well, first, to even get to that point, that's like the whole sequence is crazy. The last 30 seconds, Kawhi Leonard misses a free throw. Ensuingly so, the Sixers push the ball. Jimmy Butler takes it half the court and lays the ball in to tie the game up. Timeout's called. Then right out of the timeout, Kawhi Leonard grabs the ball. He does walk. I saw a tweet that literally shows him he took like 5 steps without dribbling the ball. But gets the ball, dribbles to the corner, to the right corner, and out arcs the ball over Joel Embiid as he's being doubled. That was literally one of the craziest shots I think I've ever seen go in, and I do think it was better than Dame's, by far. I think it was better than Dame's, just because he was literally falling to his right, off balance, over a 7'2" center, and who could arguably be the defensive player of the year. It was just a great play. It sucks as a fan because it's just like we did so much and this team is so talented, and I still do believe that that Sixers team is more talented than the Toronto Raptors. But in Game 7, the Sixers, they didn't do certain things. They didn't want it as much as, Toronto did. When we look at that game, when we look at that series, it's the little things. Like, basketball is a very simple game. And I feel like a lot of people forget that. And when you don't do the little things, it can make or break your season. That game, that whole series, right? And you can go back and look at my tweets at Trice 31. I kept saying throughout almost every single game, box out. Where's the box out at? And they weren't doing it. They'd have 3 or 4 guys around the ball, yet and still they weren't boxing out. What are you doing? I just didn't understand that. I don't know if Brett Brown wasn't making that a point of focus, but guys were just too lackadaisical. And, you do got 2 guys under 25, under 26 years of age who are supposed to be your foundations of your franchise. But, you still had a guy like Jimmy Butler. And I'm not saying Jimmy didn't box out, but sometimes he didn't. But at the end of the day, Jimmy, Brett Brown, JJ, some of these guys should have, Amir Johnson could have said something to make it a point of emphasis throughout the whole series to box out. Because every time that they actually boxed out and grabbed every rebound and were tenacious on the boards, the Raptors had no shot to stick with them. But, they weren't able to do that last night. Late into the game, later, in the second half, they were able to do that. And it didn't help that they started off slow. But, hey, both teams started out slow. And, one team was able to find their rhythm a little faster than the other. And that was the difference as well. Now, I do want to mute one topic one topic of conversation, I should say, just because it's a little over the top. And people are calling for Brett Brown's job in this series. Of course, there's some things that Brett Brown could have done better, and I'm not going to deny that. But when you look at this game, we didn't in the series, we didn't lose these series because of Brett Brown. Like last year, 2 years ago, when we lost to Boston in the second round, that was because of Brett Brown. That was a clear spitting image of poor coaching by Brett Brown. And now that was just easy. You could easily see that. It was very transparent. This season was a little different. You had Brett Brown trying to coach a group of guys who were just thrown together. What? Right after little bit before the All-Star break. And it was supposed to create and make them into an NBA championship team. In what, like 3-4 months? When the rest of these teams, for the most part, were constructed and built in the offseason and had a full season and a full offseason to prepare for the grind of the NBA season and for the playoffs. So, yeah, I feel like Brett Brown did a phenomenal job with managing personalities, managing player types and situational basketball. Could he have been better? Yes. But you gave him like a half a season to make a championship team. I don't know what coach has done that. I think Brett Brown did the best with what he had. And there were times, yeah, you could talk about those 3 possessions. But when I look at the totality of the whole series, I think Brett did a pretty good job. His adjustments were great at times. He tried to experiment as much as he could with the 5. His best options were Boban and Greg Monroe. Like, what else was he supposed to do? I truly think he did his best with what he had. And now let's talk about whether or not this team is going to bring back all their starters. I believe they will. Elton Brand said, look, his main job and main goal when they first brought everybody in was to keep that core, was to find a way to sign everybody and to make everybody happy. I think Jimmy will come back. He is a wild card. Some of his press conference comments were a little condescending and a little, I want to say, passive-aggressive, but one, I feel like that's Jimmy's personality. Secondly, I think Jimmy's just keeping his options open. I don't think he wants to deter away any team, any opportunity. But at the end of the day, I really do think he enjoyed playing in Philly and that, this is something that he really enjoyed and that he sees himself being here and he sees this team going far. But I also think Jimmy's waiting to see what management is going to do to make the team better. Because I do feel as though Jimmy feels like there could have been done more, better options, better bench options. And I think Jimmy wants to go to the best situation for him, so he's just playing it by ear. I think Tobias definitely is going to resign. He might not even look for the max. Everybody's talking about, signing these guys to 2 max deals. And look, this is the best team Tobias Harris has ever been on and as deep and the deepest he's ever been in the playoffs. So, I don't see him switching teams. I see him staying. I see him, growing with this young core. They might even bring back Boban. Boban was viable. Against some teams, of course, he's going to be a liability, but he wasn't that bad. He was a nice, calm, change of pace type of big man for, this team and for Joel Embiid. So, when we talk about can this team go back and repeat this, it all depends on Ben Simmons, whether he's going to be willing to take a jump shot. Like, he's got to do that now. It's year 3 coming up, and for him to only be taking post shots is a disgrace, and you're handling the ball for the majority of the time on the floor. That can't happen. He's got to shoot more. He's got to be more confident. And he talked about it in his post-game presser as well, that him and Joel both have to get better. In Joel's terms, look, I need to see Joel 30 pounds lighter. That's really what I need to see. I need to see him 30 pounds lighter. I need to see him eating better, because you can't get sick like that for 3 games in a series. That can't happen. I know it can happen no matter what, the travel and all that. I don't care. You're not making it any better with your eating regimen and the way that you're and the things that you're putting into your body. You're a world-class athlete. Please act like it, and please treat your body as such. It's just that simple. The guys, the LeBron James, the Kobe Bryants, they wanted to win bad enough that they took care of their body in such manner. Like you just have to do better. And if those guys do those things, and Joel works on a little bit more post moves and widening his range a little bit more and getting more consistent from the three, this team can definitely push. And if they're able to re-sign those guys, even if they're able to re-sign one of them and get some solid role players in there to do similar things that the other guys were able to do, this team can definitely go deeper. This team clearly wasn't ready for an NBA Finals, even though I thought that they should go and that they were capable of going. But I knew if they were to get to the finals and even the Eastern Conference Finals, that it was gonna be a tough time. But they still had the talent and ability to do it, and that's the scary part. That this team has so much potential. The players on this team have so much potential. I do see TJ leaving this year. I don't see them keeping him on board. Furkan might be gone. I'm interested to see what Zaire's gonna bring next year. That's definitely an exciting piece to look at and to observe. But yeah, this Sixers team, hey, be patient with them. They're on the uprise, and I know we Sixers fans say this all the time, but this team has elite talent. And I know we talk about Joel and Ben, and we're so hard on them, but we got to remember how old they are, and we got to remember how old some of those guys on Toronto are. Most of those guys are in their 30s. Their youngest player was Siakam. Like, those were veteran guys that they were playing against, and they took them to a 7-game series and almost won. They should have won the series. But because of their inexperience and their, mental mistakes and crunch time, had them on the other side of things. But hey, I really appreciate you guys watching this video. Please like, please share, please subscribe. More videos on the way, guys.